If you've ever installed drawer slides, you know it can be a challenge. You have to position the slide at exactly the right height with just the right setback and hold it perfectly level while you try to screw it to the cabinet. It's a fussy, frustrating job, unless you have Rockler's new Universal Drawer Slide Jig. Designed to work with most ball bearing, epoxy, and center mount slides, the jig holds the slide securely and makes it easy for you to position it perfectly for quick, accurate installations. And it features an indexing rod that makes repeated installations a snap. Like all great jigs, it's easy to use. Just separate the two parts of the slide and put the cabinet track in the jig as it will be installed in the cabinet. An integral stop guarantees the right setback from the front of the cabinet, and the innovative locking wedge grips the slide securely, so you don't have to worry about it shifting or tipping. Beveled edges on the jig's wings line up with the bottom of the slide for easy positioning at the cabinet, and there's a scale in case you need to offset the mounting height. The jig positions the slide square to the front of the cabinet and level from front to back. Flat areas on the body make it easy to clamp it to the cabinet if you want to free up both hands to drive the mounting screws. After installing a couple of screws, you can release the locking wedge, remove the jig, and drive all the remaining mounting screws, as directed in the slide instructions. If you need to install multiple slides at the same height, this jig will save you a lot of time and the hassle of measuring at each location. It features an indexing rod that lets you register the slide off of a reference surface on the cabinet. The rod can be installed from the top or bottom of the jig, depending on the location of the reference surface. When you've got the slide located precisely, slide the indexing rod until the plastic foot makes contact and lock it in with the brass knob. At the next installation site, just butt the foot of the indexing rod against the reference surface to position the jig at the right height. You'll get perfect installations time after time. The indexing rod also works great when you're mounting center mount slides on a cross rail. So if you want easy and accurate drawer slide installations every time, you owe it to yourself to get Rockler's Universal Drawer Slide Jig.
The concealed hinge jig from Craig offers a fast, reliable, easy-to-use solution that anyone can use to install doors on cabinets or built-ins, or to refresh kitchen cabinets with new updated doors. That's because the concealed hinge jig makes it easier than ever to mount concealed hinges that give doors a clean, uncluttered look. And the jig lets you do it with the accuracy of a drill press, but using nothing more than an ordinary drill. The jig makes the process easy, thanks to indexing cams and built-in measuring scales that ensure exact hinge cup positioning, plus a removable guide for the included carbide-tipped bit. Using the concealed hinge jig makes it simple to figure out the two main things required for mounting these hinges: determining how far from the door edge the hinge needs to be located and how far the hinges sit from the top or bottom of the door. How far from the door edge the hinge sits is called the offset, and the measurement varies depending on the hinge type and brand. Usually, you just have to read the hinge instructions, measure, and hope for the best. But the concealed hinge jig has indexing cams that take out all of the guesswork and uncertainty. Just turn the cams to the appropriate setting and the jig will be perfectly positioned when you place it against the edge of the door. That means all you have to do is use the concealed hinge jig's measuring scale to position the hinge at the desired distance from the top or bottom of the door. Clamp the jig in place, and the hinge cup hole will be positioned correctly every time. After the cup hole is correctly located, you still need to drill a clean hole to the proper depth. Doing that usually requires a drill press and a specialized bit. The concealed hinge jig comes with a high-quality carbide-tipped 35mm bit that's specifically designed for the task. The bit shears the wood cleanly without tear-out for perfect holes time after time. To ensure the hole is straight, that bit rides in a drilling guide that locks quickly and accurately into the jig. A stop collar ensures correct hole depth every time too. Once the cup is drilled, the concealed hinge jig makes it just as easy to drill the holes for the hinge mounting screws. Just remove the drilling guide and use the two holes in the jig to guide an ordinary 1/16 inch drill bit. Unclamp the concealed hinge jig and the hinge drops into place and mounts accurately every time, whether you're installing hinges on one door or adding new doors to an entire kitchen. That means all you have to do is mount the door to your cabinet and the job is done confidently, quickly, and with professional quality results, using just a drill with a concealed hinge.
My father was a woodworker, and I would help him in the garage as a young boy, and I would follow him around and clean up the dust. So I always had the passion for woodworking. I consider myself to be a perfectionist. When you draw 90 degrees, I want 90 degrees. 89 degrees won't cut it. Everything you do starts off square, so I bought the 1281 square. Just the quality put into it. I think the process they go through manufacturing is second to none. So I measure my other squares to the woodpeckers to see if they're 90 degrees. All my projects start with woodpecker's tools, and I hope that my son takes care of these tools and uses them for the rest of his lifetime, because they'll still be square.
Unrivaled durable precision, unparalleled smoothness, unquestionable breakthrough. Introducing the 12-inch dual bevel axial glide miter saw from Bosch. Another game-changing innovation from the leader in professional tools. The new axial glide miter saw is more than a new way to crosscut, bevel, and miter. It's an engineering breakthrough that delivers significant advantages over traditional miter saws. The innovation begins with our patented axial glide system, which incorporates a robust cast aluminum arm and sealed ball bearings, working in tandem with the saw fence, base, and controls to achieve unprecedented durability and precision.
When you have a job that requires a second set of hands, you can count on the Rockwell Jaw Stand XP. It's a compact, easy-to-use, versatile work support stand for holding, clamping, and outfeed support for larger work and sheet goods. It comes fully assembled right out of the box, no tools required. Whether you're hanging cabinets, setting a door, cutting large materials, or needing a portable work table, the Jaw Stand XP is your second set of hands. If you're an occasional do-it-yourselfer or a professional contractor, you can use the Jaw Stand XP to install crown molding, hang doors, install cabinetry, and so much more. The Jaw Stand XP has a sturdy tripod base with non-slip rubber feet and a non-marring clamp to protect your surfaces and your work. The head swivels 360 degrees and tilts from 0 to 90 degrees. You can adjust your working height from 29 to 43 inches, and the built-in leveling bubble ensures your work is done right the first time. The micro height adjustment handle is used for setting precise height measurements under load and can be adjusted up to 2 inches. And the quick release cam action clamp secures your work with a flip of the lever. The Rockwell Jaw Stand XP is your portable, versatile second set of hands.